You are here right now, in this specific moment, not because of an algorithm and not by accident. There is a reason you felt a pull to click, a subtle nudge in your spirit that said, pause here. Please listen to that nudge. It is the first sign that your intuition is sharper than you give it credit for. And if you feel this nudge, share this video with someone who needs this peace. By extending this blessing to another, you multiply the favor over your own life. Be the vessel God uses to reach them today. Archangel Michael speaks to you today, but he does not come with the crashing sound of thunder or the blaring of trumpets. He comes with a precision that is quieter than a whisper, but heavier than the mountains. He is stepping into your energetic space right now to remind you of a truth you have forgotten in the noise of the world. Discernment becomes sharpest when your pride finally relaxes. You have been waiting for a miracle. You have been looking at the sky, checking your phone, and watching the door, expecting your breakthrough to arrive with a loud bang, demanding your attention. But Archangel Michael is here to adjust your vision. The miracle that is arriving at your doorstep does not require you to force it. It does not need you to convince anyone of your worth. It does not require struggle. It asks only for one thing: your awareness. Many beautiful souls miss their deepest blessings because they have been trained by a hard world to expect a fight before every reward. You have been taught that if you aren't sweating, stressing, or crying, you aren't making progress. Today, that old belief system ends. The gift God is sending you arrives through receptivity, not resistance. It is coming to you because you are open, not because you are fighting. If you are ready to receive without the fight, like this video as a sign of your surrender to ease. Let this small action be the signal that accelerates the peace you have been waiting for. If your spirit is tired of fighting and you are ready to simply receive what God has prepared, type, "I am open to receive," in the comments. Let this be your signal to the heavens that you are putting down your armor and opening your hands. So, I invite you to pay close attention to how this message makes you feel. There is no pressure here. There is no fear-mongering. There is no manipulation telling you that you must do something or else face bad luck. Those are the voices of the world, not the voice of the divine. Instead, as you listen, you will feel a subtle pull toward engagement. You will feel a sense of familiarity, as if you have heard these words before, even though you haven't. It is an inner acknowledgement that feels older than your current thoughts. That recognition is your signal. It means your alignment is active. It means your soul is remembering what your mind had forgotten. You have carried unanswered questions in your heart for longer than you admit to your friends or family. You haven't spoken them aloud, perhaps not even written them down in your journal, yet they have been present in the background of every decision you have made for the last year. This arrival, this message, carries the energy of resolution. It may not solve every puzzle in your life instantly, but it initiates movement where stagnation once ruled. From this point forward, the heavy energy of waiting is being replaced by the vibrant energy of momentum. Do not try to overanalyze this moment. Do not try to dissect it with logic. Overthinking fractures the divine timing. Just allow it to unfold naturally. God is guiding you. A divine message of protection is wrapping around you. To stay wrapped in this protection, subscribe to the channel. Consider it an act of obedience to keep your spiritual ears open to the guidance that is trying to reach you. Stay present, beloved soul, because the next step will reveal itself only after you honor this current one. Let us speak to the weary part of your heart. Archangel Michael sees the armor you have been wearing. You have been wearing it for so long that you have forgotten what your skin feels like underneath it. You have navigated a season, perhaps a very long season, where it felt like nothing came easy. If you wanted love, you had to fight for it. If you wanted stability, you had to sacrifice your sleep for it. If you wanted peace, you had to go to war to find it. This constant state of survival mode has trained you to believe that struggle is the entry fee for blessing. But today, the heavens are correcting that error. Faith is not blind, it is responsive. And right now, God is observing how you have continued forward, even when you received no reassurance. The divine has watched how you adjusted your expectations without becoming bitter. Heaven saw how you learned to stand steady when outcomes shifted unexpectedly and people you trusted walked away. That growth, that quiet resilience, is exactly what made this moment possible. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection often looks like redirection rather than defense. Sometimes when a door slammed in your face, you thought God was ignoring you. In truth, Archangel Michael was standing in the doorway, blocking you from entering a room that was too small for your spirit. What is approaching you now carries both opportunity and instruction. It is going to teach you something very important: how to receive without guilt. There are many of you listening who know how to give until you are empty, but when it is time to receive, you feel suspicious. You wonder, what is the catch? You wonder, what do I owe in return? This upcoming blessing will teach you to accept without suspicion. Let yourself learn this lesson. You are not required to impress the universe. You are not required to prove your value or perform like a circus act to earn your daily bread. Simply show up as you are. Authentic presence unlocks doors that striving cannot even find the handle to. This moment responds to honesty more than preparation. You might feel unprepared for what you are asking for, but God looks at the heart, not the resume. Soon after this encounter, you will notice small confirmations appearing around you. Conversations will align in strange ways. You will think of someone, and they will call. You will need an answer, and a stranger will say a sentence that solves your problem. Decisions that felt heavy last week will suddenly lose their resistance. These are not accidents. These are the echoes of alignment activating in your life. Beloved soul, this message did not find you too early, and it certainly did not find you too late. It found you precisely when your readiness matured beyond your desire. What comes next depends not on luck, but on your attention. Stay awake to the subtlety of your life. Stay open to simplicity. Stay present when the ordinary moments suddenly feel like they carry weight. Remain here, because we must discuss how to protect what is beginning. There is a profound secret that Archangel Michael wishes to impart to you regarding the nature of miracles. We have been conditioned by movies and stories to believe that when God moves, the earth shakes. We expect burning bushes and parting seas. And because we are looking for the spectacular, we often walk right past the supernatural. The miracle arriving in your life does not shout. It does not shout because it respects your freedom. Loud things force your attention. They startle you and demand you look at them. But sacred things invite choice. You will feel invited, not cornered. You will feel drawn, not pushed. That is how you will recognize the authenticity of what is coming. Anything that is truly meant to alter your destiny must honor your spirit first. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, steady and watchful, reminding you that true protection also includes guidance after the arrival. Many people receive blessings. They get the job, the relationship, the money, but they lose direction immediately afterward because they were ready for the getting, but not the holding. This is why instruction follows revelation. What enters your life soon carries responsibility along with promise. This is not a burden, it is stewardship. You are being trusted with something meaningful because your soul has learned restraint. Notice how your reactions have matured recently. Have you noticed it? When someone triggered you last week, you didn't explode. You paused. When you didn't get the text back immediately, you didn't spiral into anxiety. You observed. When things were delayed, you waited rather than chased. These shifts did not happen accidentally. They were the spiritual workout that prepared you to hold what is coming without the fear of losing it. Stability attracts continuation. However, be warned in a gentle way. There may be a brief moment where doubt whispers to you. When this blessing arrives, it might look so normal, a simple email, a casual introduction, a quiet idea, that your mind will suggest it is insignificant. That whisper is not intuition. That is your habit. That is your old survival mechanism trying to preserve the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. Let that doubt pass without arguing with it. Truth does not need defense. It needs space. God is asking you to stay grounded when this happens. Do not rush to share the details of this new beginning with everyone you know. This is a crucial spiritual law. Protection increases when gratitude remains quiet. Do not seek validation from voices that were absent during your preparation. Do not ask people who have never walked your path to validate your map. What arrives belongs first between you and heaven. If you agree to protect your blessings with silence and gratitude, declare Amen in the comments below. By typing this, you are sealing your private conversation with God and blocking out the noise of the world. Soon after this interaction, you will feel a subtle inner shift. It will feel like a weight has been lifted off your chest, but without any ceremony. You might just be washing the dishes or driving your car, and suddenly, you will take a deep breath and realize the anxiety is gone. That is confirmation, not imagination. Something long delayed has finally moved from potential into motion. You will not need proof. The peace you feel will suffice. This blessing is not isolated. It is a key. It connects to future doors that are already marked with your name. One moment unlocks another, provided you move with integrity. Alignment compounds quickly when humility stays intact. Beloved, remember this clearly. What approaches you is not meant to impress others. If you are asking for this blessing so you can post it on social media or prove your ex wrong, you are missing the point. It is meant to realign you. Measure its value by your inner clarity rather than external applause. The loudest miracles often fade the fastest. The quietest ones reshape lives permanently. Archangel Michael reminds you again not to underestimate simplicity. The divine frequently travels through ordinary paths because the ego rarely waits there. The ego is waiting on the red carpet while God is walking through the back door. Stay attentive. Stay receptive. Stay grounded in the present second, because eternity often enters through the now. As you remain with this message, realize that something subtle is happening even as you listen. Attention itself is a doorway. When you choose to remain present instead of scrolling past, alignment strengthens quietly. That is why heaven often speaks through moments that feel unremarkable at first. Stillness trains recognition. What approaches you soon will arrive during a normal hour. It will be wrapped in familiarity, touching your routine without disruption, yet carrying significance that unfolds only after reflection. My child, my beloved, listen closely because this moment did not arrive by accident. What you are experiencing right now is not random, and the stillness around you is not empty. Something has already begun moving toward your life quietly, deliberately, without announcing itself. Heaven has been watching how often you brush aside small moments, how easily you assume that nothing important could arrive through ordinary ways. This message comes because what is approaching you will not look dramatic at first glance, yet it carries power that can rearrange everything you thought was settled. I speak to you with urgency, not the urgency of fear, but the urgency of awakening. There is a visitor being guided toward your space. This arrival does not come with noise or spectacle. It comes softly, wrapped in perfect timing, clothed in simplicity, and disguised as something you might be tempted to overlook. God is asking you not to judge this moment by appearance, because miracles rarely announce themselves the way people expect. Before we continue to the deeper instructions on how to spot this visitor, I ask you to pause for 1 second and make a decision. If messages like this have ever brought you clarity, peace, or direction, stay connected to this flow. You are not here by chance, and staying until the end will reveal why this message found you instead of someone else. Beloved soul, There has been a pattern in your life where opportunities came quietly and passed just as silently. Not because you were unworthy, but because your attention was pulled elsewhere. You learned to survive by ignoring subtle nudges, by trusting logic over intuition, by dismissing what could not be explained immediately. God sees this, and that is why this guidance comes now. What is about to reach your door carries an answer to a prayer you stopped repeating because you thought it was no longer being heard. But it was heard. It was always heard. Archangel Michael stands watch over this specific moment in your timeline. He is not standing with a sword raised in anger or judgment. He stands with the sword of discernment, cutting away the veils of confusion that have clouded your sight. He is not here to block danger in the way you might think, stopping a car crash or a fall. Today, he is protecting your recognition. He guides you now because the miracle approaching you requires your cooperation. It needs your presence. It needs your humility. And most importantly, it needs you to resist the overwhelming urge to look at a small beginning and say, "This is nothing," and walk away. Here is a spiritual truth that few speak of. Resistance often rises when something meaningful is close. You may have noticed recently a strange friction in your life. Just as you decide to be peaceful, someone irritates you. Just as you decide to focus, a distraction pulls you away. Just as you feel hope, a wave of old doubt washes over you. You might interpret this as a sign that you are on the wrong path, or worse, that the universe is conspiring against you. Archangel Michael asks you to flip that perspective immediately. That friction is not a stop sign. It is a confirmation. When an airplane takes off, it encounters the most resistance from the air right before it lifts off the ground. The shaking does not mean the plane is breaking. It means the plane is leaving the level of the earth to enter the level of the sky. If you are ready to rise above the shaking and enter the sky, press the like button. By doing so, you declare that your faith is stronger than the resistance, accelerating your liftoff. There will be a brief test of your patience right before this encounter happens. The mind, your ego, your logic, your history, looks for reasons to stay closed because closed feels safe. Closed means you can't get hurt again. But the heart quietly leans forward. God is asking you to let the heart speak first. This time, listen carefully. Do not let the irritation of the day blind you to the opportunity of the hour. If you feel a sudden wave of annoyance, distraction, or doubt, pause. Take a deep breath. Recognize it for what it is. The old energy saying goodbye. Do not engage with the fight. Simply step around it. Now, we must speak of the vessel. How does this blessing arrive? We live in a world that worships packaging. We want the shiny exterior, the loud announcement, the perfect presentation. But God is a master of disguise. The person or event arriving to shift your life will not match the image you once imagined. You may have visualized a savior, a lottery win, or a sudden promotion where the boss hands you the keys to the kingdom. But the divine often works through the humble to confound the proud. It may come through a conversation you almost didn't have. It may come through a piece of paperwork that looks boring. It may come through a delivery, a knock on the door, a text message from a number you don't recognize, or an unexpected visit from someone you haven't thought of in years. You will be tempted to delay. You will look at the paperwork and say, "I'll do it later." You will see the call and say, "I'll answer tomorrow." You will feel the urge to go to that coffee shop and say, "I'm too tired." Do not. Archangel Michael is emphatic on this point. Timing is the vessel of this blessing. Hesitation can cause the moment to slip into another season. The window of opportunity in the spiritual realm is not always open. It opens and closes in rhythm with the universe. When you feel the nudge to act on something small, act. You have often wondered why certain doors in your past never opened. You have cried tears over why outcomes shifted at the last minute, why the loan fell through, why the relationship ended, why the answers seemed so close yet remained unreachable. Those delays were not punishments. They were not evidence of your unworthiness. They were preparation. You were being trained to recognize value without glamour. You were being taught to value truth without noise and direction without force. If you had received the blessing 3 years ago, you might have destroyed it with your insecurity. If you had walked through that door last year, you might have been crushed by the weight of the responsibility because your character had not yet built the muscle to hold it. This moment is the result of that unseen training. You are ready now in a way you were not ready then. Beloved soul, what arrives carries transformation not because it is dramatic, but because it is precise. Think of a key. A key is small. It is not heavy. It is not made of gold or diamonds. It is a simple piece of metal, but if it has the right grooves, it can open a vault. This blessing is a key. It touches the exact area where things have felt stuck in your life. It brings movement where effort failed. You have pushed and pulled at the door of your destiny, trying to force it open with willpower. This arrival brings the click that unlocks it effortlessly. It brings confirmation where confusion lingered. This is not about receiving something flashy that you can show off to your neighbors. It is about alignment snapping into place. It is the feeling of a disjointed bone finally popping back into its socket. Immediate relief, immediate function. Do not dismiss the ordinary today. Do not underestimate a simple interaction with a stranger. Do not rush past something that asks for your attention, even if it seems mundane. Heaven has already adjusted the circumstances of your reality, so this moment can reach you. The logistics have been handled. The routes have been cleared. All that remains is your response. Archangel Michael reminds you that discernment is not suspicion. Being open does not mean being careless or naive. It means being present. It means looking at the world with eyes that are scanning for God's fingerprints. Watch how you feel when this moment arrives. This is your litmus test. Peace will whisper before logic speaks. Does this resonate with you? If you are ready to trust the whisper of peace over the shouting of fear, type Amen below. Let this be your agreement that from this moment on, peace is your confirmation. Usually, when we make decisions from our ego, our brain speaks first. We analyze the pros and cons. We worry about the risk. But when a blessing comes from the soul, a wave of calm hits you first. A quiet knowing settles in your stomach. Calm will precede clarity. That is how you will know this is not a coincidence. My beloved, you are not late. You have not missed your window. The enemy of your soul wants you to believe that your best days are behind you, that you missed the boat, that you are too old, too broken, or too far behind. That is a lie. You are standing inside your window of opportunity right now. This message is proof. Do not let this window close. Subscribe now to secure your alignment with this new season. It is your way of telling the divine that you are listening and you are ready for the next instruction. The door you thought was closed and locked has been waiting for the right knock. And today, you are standing on both sides of it. You are the one knocking, and you are the one ready to open it. Stay with me, because we must address a feeling that has been plaguing many of you. Beloved presence, there is a reason restlessness has been circling your thoughts recently. Even during quiet hours, when you should be sleeping or relaxing, you feel a hum in your spirit. You feel like you forgot to do something, or like you are waiting for a guest who hasn't arrived yet. That sensation was not anxiety without cause. It was anticipation without explanation. Your conscious mind didn't know what was happening, but your spirit did. Something has been aligning beyond what your eyes can measure, adjusting routes, softening resistance, moving timing into position. Heaven does not rush, yet it never wastes a moment. What approaches you carries intent shaped specifically for your life. It is not borrowed from anyone else's story. Do not look at your neighbor's blessing and wish for it. It would not fit you. This blessing is tailored to your scars, your dreams, and your capacity. It is not delayed by comparison, and it is not diminished by your past disappointments. You may notice a strange calm right before everything shifts. It is the eye of the storm. That calm is not emptiness. It is not void. It is confirmation. When God prepares to alter your direction, noise fades so clarity can land without distortion. This is why distractions have been falling away from you lately. Have you noticed? Why certain conversations just ended abruptly? Why friends you used to spend time with suddenly drifted away? Why plans you were excited about dissolved without drama? You mourned those losses. You thought you were losing your circle. But Archangel Michael wants you to see the truth. Space was being cleared. If your hands are full of yesterday's baggage, you cannot catch tomorrow's blessing. Recognition is only possible when the noise dies down. Archangel Michael speaks now with precision rather than urgency, reminding you that discernment sharpens when pride relaxes. The miracle arriving does not require effort, convincing, or force. It asks only for awareness. Many miss such moments because they are trained to expect struggle before reward. Today's gift arrives through receptivity, not resistance. Pay attention to how this encounter unfolds. There will be no pressure, no fear, no manipulation. Instead, there will be a subtle pull toward engagement, a sense of familiarity without prior memory, an inner acknowledgement that feels older than thought. That recognition is your signal. It means alignment is active. You have carried unanswered questions for longer than you admit. Not spoken aloud, not written down, yet present in the background of every decision. This arrival carries resolution energy. It does not solve everything instantly. It is not a magic wand that erases your human experience, but it initiates movement where stagnation once ruled. From this point forward, momentum replaces waiting. To lock in this momentum and prevent stagnation from returning, like this video. Let this act of faith confirm that you are no longer waiting. You are moving. Do not attempt to analyze the moment prematurely. Imagine planting a seed and then digging it up every hour to see if it has roots. You would kill it. Overthinking fractures timing. Allow it to unfold naturally. The next step will reveal itself only after the current one is honored. Faith here is not blind. It is responsive. You respond. Then clarity expands. This is not coincidence layered over chance. This is orchestration layered over patience. God has observed how you continued forward even without reassurance, how you adjusted expectations without bitterness, how you learned to stand steady when outcomes shifted unexpectedly. That growth made this moment possible. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection sometimes looks like redirection rather than defense. What approaches now carries both opportunity and instruction. It will teach you something important about receiving without guilt and accepting without suspicion. Let yourself learn. You are not required to impress, prove, or perform. Simply show up as you are. Authentic presence unlocks what striving cannot. This moment responds to honesty more than preparation. Soon after this encounter, you will notice small confirmations appearing around you. Conversations will align. Decisions will feel lighter. Choices that once felt heavy will lose resistance. These are echoes of alignment activating. Beloved soul, this message did not find you early or late. It found you precisely when readiness matured beyond desire. What comes next depends not on luck, but on attention. Stay awake to subtlety. Stay open to simplicity. Stay present when the ordinary suddenly carries weight. Remain here because the next part reveals how to protect what begins. We must discuss the second phase. Once the blessing arrives, there is a tendency to sabotage it with fear. We will explore how to avoid interference and how to walk forward without losing what has been placed within reach. My cherished one, awareness deepens now because what is unfolding requires gentleness rather than speed. The moment that approaches your life will not tolerate haste, yet it will not wait for hesitation either. Balance is being asked of you. Presence without pressure, openness without surrendering wisdom. God is not testing you to see whether you are worthy. Heaven already knows your capacity. You were born worthy. This phase exists to show you how receiving can feel peaceful rather than overwhelming. There is something important you must understand. The miracle arriving does not shout because it respects your freedom. Loud things force attention, but sacred things invite choice. You will feel invited, not cornered. Drawn, not pushed. That is how you will recognize authenticity. Anything meant to alter your destiny must honor your spirit first. Soon, a decision will present itself. It will likely be modest in appearance, yet significant in consequence. It might be a choice between an old habit and a new discipline. A choice between speaking your truth or staying silent to keep the peace. Oh, choose alignment over convenience. Oh, choose integrity over urgency. That choice anchors everything that follows. God values intention more than outcome because intention shapes direction. Beloved, understand this clearly. What you are stepping into does not remove challenge. It changes how challenge is met. Fear loses authority when awareness remains present. Confusion dissolves when attention stays anchored. You are being prepared to navigate complexity without losing peace. As days progress, notice how gratitude emerges naturally rather than through effort. That gratitude sustains flow. It keeps perspective clear. It invites continuation. Heaven responds to appreciation expressed quietly, consistently, sincerely. Remain receptive. Remain attentive. Remain grounded in this unfolding. The journey ahead expands gently, guided by insight rather than impulse. What has begun will continue when honored with presence. Beloved consciousness, we arrive now at a critical juncture in your understanding. Archangel Michael asks you to lean in closely, for what we are about to discuss contradicts almost everything the world has taught you about success and survival. Advancement now unfolds through subtle commitment rather than visible struggle. You have been raised in a culture that worships exhaustion. You have been told that if you are not tired, you are not working hard enough. You have been led to believe that transformation demands a breakdown, that you must burn yourself to the ground to rise like a phoenix. While there is truth in resilience, there is a higher truth in flow. The path opening before you right now responds to consistency, not intensity. Think of the river. It does not scream. It does not panic. It simply flows. Day and night, relentlessly consistent. And over time, that gentle water cuts through the hardest rock. Many believe transformation demands exhaustion. Yet, heaven often works through quiet alignment sustained over time. You are being guided into a rhythm where effort feels lighter because the resistance has loosened. If you are ready to release the addiction to struggle and step into God's divine flow, write, "I release the struggle," in the comments. Mark this moment as the end of your exhaustion and the beginning of your ease. Be careful not to mistake this ease for laziness. It is not laziness, it is efficiency. But when you align with divine will, you stop swimming upstream. You turn around and let the current carry you. This makes the journey faster, but it feels easier. This shift is happening not because your circumstances became perfect overnight, but because your perception has matured. Notice how your emotional reactions no longer pull you as strongly as before. Situations that once triggered an immediate, fiery response now invite reflection. A year ago, a rude comment would have ruined your week. Today, it lasts 5 minutes. A setback that would have made you quit is now just a problem to solve. This shift signals authority returning to your inner center. But you are reclaiming the throne of your own mind. God values this stability because it allows wisdom to guide action rather than impulse. What continues from here requires grounded awareness, not urgency fueled by fear. Archangel Michael observes how your listening has deepened. You hear beyond words now. You are starting to sense intention beneath tone. You are reading the energy of a room before anyone speaks. These abilities were developed quietly through experiences you once questioned. You thought you were just suffering, but you were actually being sensitized. nothing was wasted. Every delay refined your discernment. Every disappointment strengthened your clarity. Soon you may be placed in a position where your response influences others without effort. Because you are stable, unstable people will gravitate toward you. Leadership emerges naturally when authenticity remains intact. Do not shrink from this role. You do not need a title to be a leader. You do not need a podium. Influence rooted in integrity does not demand performance. It flows through example. Heaven trusts you with this because you learned humility without losing confidence. As this new chapter begins, there will be moments inviting silence over speech. Honor them. We live in a noisy world that fears silence. We fill every gap in conversation with chatter because silence feels awkward. But in the spiritual realm, silence is where power accumulates. Archangel Michael reminds you that restraint protects momentum. When you receive a download, an idea, or a blessing, the first instinct of the ego is to run and tell everyone, "Look what I got. Look what I realized." But often, when you share a seed before it has taken root, the skepticism of others digs it up. Unnecessary explanation dilutes meaning. Speak when clarity invites expression, not when habit demands noise. If you have to explain your worth, you are in the wrong room. If you have to convince someone to respect your boundary, they are not listening to your spirit. Think of a pressure cooker. If you leave the valve open, the steam escapes, and the food never cooks. If you keep the vessel sealed, the pressure builds, and the transformation happens. Keep your vessel sealed a little longer. Let the transformation cook. Silence preserves alignment. It keeps your energy contained so it can be directed toward your purpose, rather than leaked out in gossip, complaints, or seeking validation. As this journey unfolds, your relationship with time shifts. Waiting no longer feels empty. Movement no longer feels rushed. Balance emerges organically. This balance is protection disguised as ease. It prevents burnout. It sustains vision. It keeps purpose clear. God is not asking you to abandon caution, but to release fear disguised as wisdom. Many of you call yourself cautious, but you are actually just afraid. Caution is looking both ways before crossing the street. Fear is refusing to cross the street at all. Discernment now comes from presence, not past conditioning. Allow yourself to experience trust without tension. Trust, grounded in awareness, strengthens rather than weakens. Beloved soul, alignment grows when attention remains anchored. Distractions will attempt to pull focus outward. The world will try to hook you into its drama. Return gently. Center yourself without judgment. What you nurture expands. Soon, another layer will reveal itself, building upon what has already begun. This progression honors patience. It rewards steadiness. It unfolds without force. Beloved awareness, the continuation of this message now asks for integration rather than anticipation. You have been waiting for the big event. But what has begun does not need acceleration. It needs embodiment. It needs to move from your head to your hands and feet. Carry this alignment into ordinary motion. Carry it into your routine gestures. Carry it into the way you make your coffee, the way you drive to work, the way you listen to your children. These quiet decisions rarely feel spiritual, yet they shape direction profoundly. Heaven prefers transformation that blends seamlessly with daily life because permanence grows there. If you are only spiritual when you are meditating on a yoga mat, you are not enlightened. You are escaping. True spirituality is keeping your peace when the traffic is bad. True spirituality is kindness when you are tired. You are learning how sacred movement can exist without ceremony. You don't need incense and candles to be with God. You just need attention. Attention will be tested gently. Mundane moments may invite distraction, tempting you to slip back into automatic patterns. You will catch yourself scrolling on your phone for an hour, numbing out. You will catch yourself snapping at a loved one. When that happens, return without criticism. This is the most important instruction Archangel Michael can give you today. Re-entering is not failure. It is mastery forming. Do not beat yourself up. Do not say, "Oh, I ruined my vibration. I failed God." No. God values the return more than the perfection. Every time you catch yourself drifting and you choose to come back to the present moment, you are doing a spiritual rep. You are building the muscle of presence. Each conscious return strengthens your power. If you are committed to this path of mastery, subscribe. Let this be your vow of consistency, ensuring you do not drift back into old patterns, but stay anchored in this community of light. Archangel Michael encourages simplicity. Now, complexity fragments focus. The ego loves complexity because it makes it feel important. The soul loves simplicity because it allows it to breathe. Choose clarity over excess. Choose intention over impulse. What unfolds responds best to straightforward movement, guided by inner sensing rather than elaborate strategy. Alignment thrives when unnecessary layers fall away. You may notice curiosity awakening differently within you. Questions arise not from confusion, but from expansion. You are no longer asking, "Why is this happening to me?" You are asking, "What is this teaching me?" Let those questions exist without immediate answers. Curiosity without anxiety opens pathways creativity cannot reach. Insight often arrives when space remains uncluttered. There will be opportunities to share wisdom subtly without instruction or authority. Allow your lived clarity to speak through your demeanor. Calm communicates truth louder than explanation. Influence grounded in authenticity invites trust naturally. Beloved, understand that protection now operates internally. For years, you looked for protection outside of yourself. You wanted a shield, a wall, a defender. But now, awareness guards your direction more effectively than any external control. When your perception remains clear, misalignment becomes obvious early, preventing detours. You will smell a lie before it is fully spoken. You will sense a trap before you step into it. This internal safeguard was cultivated intentionally through your previous seasons of uncertainty. God observes how your gratitude has shifted from a reaction to a state of being. Before, you were grateful only when good things happened. Thank you for the money. Thank you for the gift. Now, you are learning to be grateful for the breath in your lungs, for the sun on your face, for the fact that you are still standing. That state sustains momentum effortlessly. Appreciation rooted in presence attracts continuity. It keeps awareness open. It nourishes patience. Soon you may feel a sense of arrival without fanfare. No dramatic marker, no sudden announcement, simply recognition settling quietly. It will feel like coming home after a long trip. You put your bags down, you sit on your own couch, and you sigh. I am here. That recognition confirms that movement occurred exactly as intended. Trust that feeling. It reflects alignment achieved, not imagined. Archangel Michael stands witness to this unfolding, not intervening, but affirming. Guidance now operates through resonance rather than instruction. You will sense what aligns by how it feels internally. Ease accompanies truth. Tension signals adjustment. Beloved soul, remain grounded in this rhythm. Continue forward gently. Honor simplicity. Protect presence. What has begun will expand naturally when carried with awareness. Stay here. Further insight follows when readiness invites continuation. Beloved clarity progression now unfolds through embodiment rather than expectation. What you carry inwardly begins shaping outward expression without effort. Choices align before reasoning completes. Actions follow intuition smoothly. This is not coincidence. It is coherence forming. God designs movement this way, so peace accompanies growth instead of anxiety. When harmony leads, results sustain. You may sense an urge to simplify your surroundings, your conversations, and your commitments. Honor that impulse. You might feel the need to clean out your closet. You might feel the need to cancel a subscription. You might feel the need to stop talking to someone who drains you. Reduction sharpens focus. Space invites depth. Archangel Michael guides this refinement quietly, ensuring essentials remain while excess dissolves. What stays serves purpose. What leaves frees energy. Observe how confidence expresses itself differently now, not through assertion, but through calm steadiness. This confidence does not seek validation. It rests comfortably within awareness. Heaven values this posture because it cannot be shaken easily. Stability attracts continuity. Moments may arise where patience feels challenged, where timing appears slower than preference. Breathe through those instances. Alignment unfolds at its own pace, ensuring foundations remain secure. Rushing fractures integration. Trust protects what develops. God invites you to treat each interaction as a practice in presence, listening fully, responding thoughtfully, remaining open without absorbing unnecessary weight. These practices anchor awareness during expansion. They prevent drift. Archangel Michael reminds you that boundaries preserve clarity. Saying no thoughtfully honors direction. Choosing rest intentionally sustains vision. Balance here is not avoidance, it is stewardship. As days continue, subtle confirmations will appear, reinforcing alignment without demanding attention. Notice them quietly. Gratitude deepens resonance. Recognition strengthens continuity. Beloved soul, integration completes through lived experience, not contemplation alone. Carry awareness into movement. Carry clarity into choice. Carry calm into challenge. What unfolds remains supported when presence leads. Remain attentive. Remain gentle. Remain grounded. Beloved perception, as you integrate this new level of spiritual maturity, you will notice a profound shift in your external world. This is unavoidable. You cannot change your internal frequency without your external reality rearranging itself to match. Unfolding now favors lived attentiveness rather than conceptual understanding. What settles within you expresses itself through your tone, your pacing, your posture, and your presence. Life responds differently when inner alignment leads. Have you noticed that certain rooms feel different now? Have you noticed that certain conversations which used to entertain you now feel draining? This is not judgment, this is resonance. Circumstances soften around you. Resistance loosens. But also, people drift. Archangel Michael asks you not to grieve the drifting. When you raise your vibration, you become like a tuning fork. You are vibrating at a frequency of peace, integrity, and truth. Those who are tuned to drama, chaos, or deceit simply cannot resonate with you anymore. They do not hate you, they just cannot hear you. To amplify this frequency, like this video, it is a simple way to tune your reality to this message, signaling to the universe that you align with truth, not chaos. God arranges outcomes through coherence, not force. When harmony governs your movement, obstacles reconfigure without confrontation. You do not need to fire the toxic friend. They will likely stop calling you. You do not need to quit the draining obligation. It will likely dissolve on its own. You may notice an increased sensitivity to atmosphere. You are becoming a human barometer for truth. You will walk into a room and immediately know if the energy supports your clarity or drains your vitality. Honor those impressions. For years, you suppressed this. You walked into bad situations because you didn't want to be difficult or judgmental. You ignored the knot in your stomach. Today, Archangel Michael hands you the permission slip to trust your gut. Choosing spaces that nurture awareness strengthens momentum. Alignment flourishes where respect for energy exists. As this shift deepens, your interactions transform subtly. Listening becomes fuller. Responses emerge thoughtfully. Silence gains weight. These shifts influence outcomes more than words ever could. Authority rooted in presence speaks quietly, yet reaches deeply. The person who screams the loudest is usually the one who feels the least heard. The person who speaks softly knows they are speaking the truth. Heaven recognizes this maturity and entrusts you with greater responsibility accordingly. There will be opportunities inviting restraint rather than reaction. This is the test of the warrior of light. A warrior does not swing his sword at every fly that buzzes past his face. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will accuse you of something you didn't do. Someone will try to bait you into an old argument. Choose stillness. Choosing restraint preserves direction. It prevents unnecessary entanglement. When you argue with confusion, you become confused. When you wrestle with mud, you get dirty. Wisdom grows when impulse yields to awareness. This restraint does not diminish your power. It concentrates it. Imagine a river that is wide and shallow. It has no force. But if you narrow the river, if you restrain it between two canyon walls, the water becomes powerful enough to generate electricity. Your silence is that canyon. It concentrates your energy so that when you do act, it moves mountains. If you receive this wisdom and choose to let God fight your battles while you remain in peace, simply type, Amen. Let this be your acceptance of spiritual maturity and your refusal to engage with confusion. God invites appreciation for incremental movement. We live in a culture of overnight success, but nature does not work that way. The oak tree does not grow overnight. Not every advance announces itself dramatically. Progress measured through peace often outweighs visible achievement. Recognize growth through the calm you sustain during a challenge. That calm signals internal mastery developing. If you can pay a bill that used to stress you out and do it with gratitude, that is a miracle. If you can handle a breakup without losing your self-worth, that is a miracle. Archangel Michael remains attentive, ensuring discernment stays clear as expansion continues. Guidance now arrives through subtle nudges rather than direct instruction. Sensation precedes reasoning. Trust that order. Intuition refined through experience rarely misleads. You have likely spent years doubting yourself. You were gaslit by others, or perhaps you gaslit yourself, telling yourself you were crazy for feeling what you felt. Archangel Michael is here to restore your confidence in your own receiver. Beloved soul, momentum now depends on consistency, returning daily to presence, honoring awareness during routine, integrating clarity into simple acts. These repetitions, though gentle, shape destiny profoundly. Heaven values fidelity over intensity. It is better to pray for 5 minutes every day than to pray for 5 hours once a year. It is better to be kind in small ways every day than to be a hero once in a lifetime. Subscribe as an act of fidelity to your own soul. By joining this space, you are choosing to feed your spirit daily, ensuring your intuition remains sharp and your path remains clear. Soon, another invitation will arise requiring choice without pressure. When that moment appears, respond from centered awareness. Ease accompanies correct alignment. If you have to force it, if you have to manipulate it, if you have to lose sleep over it, it is likely not the path. Discomfort signals that an adjustment is needed. Let sensation guide direction gently. Remain grounded, remain receptive, remain patient. What unfolds continues precisely as intended when carried with mindful attention. Stay here. Further insight arrives as readiness deepens. Beloved, remember this clearly. What approaches you is not meant to impress others. It is meant to realign you. We must address the ego trap. As blessings start to flow, and they will, the ego will want to use them as trophies. Look at my new car. Look at my happy relationship. Look at how spiritual I am. Measure value by inner clarity rather than external applause. The loudest miracles often fade fastest. The quietest ones reshape lives permanently. A viral video is forgotten in a week. A healed heart lasts a lifetime. Archangel Michael reminds you again not to underestimate simplicity. The divine frequently travels through ordinary paths because ego rarely waits there. The ego wants a golden chariot. God sends a humble donkey. The ego wants a thunderclap. God sends a whisper. Stay attentive. Stay receptive. Stay grounded in the present second because eternity often enters through now. Remain with this message. What follows will reveal how to respond once the moment passes, how to nurture what begins, and how to walk forward without repeating old cycles. Beloved awareness, something subtle is happening even as you listen, because attention itself is a doorway. When you choose to remain present instead of scrolling past, Alignment strengthens quietly. That is why heaven often speaks through moments that feel unremarkable at first. Stillness trains recognition. What approaches you soon will arrive during a normal hour, wrapped in familiarity, touching your routine without disruption, yet carrying significance that unfolds only after reflection. There is wisdom in how this encounter has been timed. You may have been frustrated by the delay. You may have shouted at the sky, asking, when? Had it come earlier, you might have resisted. You were too attached to the outcome. Had it arrived later, doubt could have hardened. You might have given up hope entirely. Now, right in this sweet spot, your inner posture allows reception without struggle. Growth softened you not by removing your strength, but by teaching you discernment. A rigid tree breaks in the wind. A bamboo tree bends. You have become bamboo. God values readiness more than eagerness. Eagerness is childish. Readiness is mature. You may feel a brief hesitation when the moment presents itself. It will feel like standing at the edge of understanding without words to explain it. That pause is sacred. Do not rush to label or define what you feel. We are obsessed with labels. Is this my soulmate? Is this my destiny? Is this a test? Just let it be. Meaning reveals itself gradually when given patience. Archangel Michael encourages restraint here, reminding you that clarity deepens through observation rather than immediate conclusion. What unfolds next will not demand sacrifice. It will request trust. Trust that simplicity can carry depth. Trust that timing knows more than planning. Trust that intuition speaks quietly for a reason. The miracle tied to this moment does not overwhelm because it respects balance. It integrates into your life rather than overturning it. Pay close attention afterward. Your surroundings may feel slightly different, not because anything changed outwardly, but because your perception sharpened. Colors appear warmer. Thoughts feel organized. Decisions lose resistance. These shifts indicate alignment activating. They are confirmations, not coincidences. God has watched how often you doubted your own inner voice. This experience restores confidence gently without confrontation. It teaches you how to listen again without fear of being wrong. That restoration matters more than the event itself because it affects every step that follows. Archangel Michael reminds you not to cling. Gratitude flows best when held lightly. Allow what enters to breathe. Space nurtures growth. Control restricts expansion. You have spent so much energy trying to control outcomes because you were afraid of pain. But control is an illusion. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Trust allows continuation. Soon, a second confirmation will appear. It will be unrelated on the surface, yet connected beneath. When that happens, acknowledge it quietly. No announcement is required. Recognition alone anchors the blessing. Beloved soul, this is how transformation often begins. Not through force, but through awareness sustained over time. Remain attentive. Remain receptive. Remain grounded. What unfolds from here depends on how gently you walk forward. Stay here. The next movement reveals how to protect this alignment from interference and how to continue without returning to old patterns. Beloved, understanding progression now asks for quiet courage rather than dramatic action. What begins softly sustains deeply when nurtured with patience. You are entering a phase where restraint becomes strength and listening outweighs speaking. This shift may feel unfamiliar, yet it suits you more than you realize. You have always been a deep feeler. You have always been sensitive. The world told you that was a weakness. Archangel Michael tells you it is your superpower. Heaven often advances purpose by refining attention, not by amplifying noise. What unfolds next responds to steadiness, not speed. There will be an impulse to interpret signs too quickly, to search for reassurance through external confirmation. Resist that urge gently. Inner certainty matures when given room. Archangel Michael encourages composure here, reminding you that discernment sharpens through still awareness. Let impressions settle. Let insight arrive without demand. Truth reveals itself most clearly when it is not chased. Observe how interactions begin to carry layered meaning. Words spoken casually will hold resonance. Small choices will feel guided rather than forced. These are not tricks of imagination. They signal alignment continuing forward. God communicates through coherence. Well, when life begins to feel organized internally, outward pathways follow naturally. You may encounter voices attempting to reintroduce old narratives. They will suggest caution rooted in past outcomes rather than present reality. They will say, "Be careful, remember what happened last time?" Listen politely, then release. Wisdom grows when experience informs without imprisoning. Do not let your past hold your future hostage. This moment asks you to move forward unburdened by outdated conclusions. Growth requires permission to outgrow former limits. Archangel Michael stands as guardian of this transition, ensuring clarity remains intact. Protection now operates through insight rather than obstruction. You will sense when to engage and when to pause. Trust that sensing. It has been refined intentionally. Soon a decision will present itself. Modest in appearance, yet significant in consequence. Choose alignment over convenience. Choose integrity over urgency. That choice anchors everything that follows. God values intention more than outcome, because intention shapes direction. Beloved soul, we reach the summit of this message. Archangel Michael asks you to understand this clearly. What you are stepping into does not remove challenge. It changes how challenge is met. There is a misconception among the spiritual seeking community that once you align with God, all your problems vanish. That is a child's wish, not a master's truth. The rain will still fall, but you will no longer be afraid of getting wet. The wind will still blow, but your roots will be too deep to be uprooted. Fear loses authority when awareness remains present. In the past, when a problem arose, a bill, a conflict, a health scare, fear took the wheel immediately. You would panic, you would scramble, you would lose your sleep. Now, you are being prepared to navigate complexity without losing peace. Confusion dissolves when attention stays anchored. You will look at the problem, acknowledge it, and ask, what is the next right step? Not, why is this happening to me? As days progress, notice how gratitude emerges naturally, rather than through effort. For a long time, you tried to practice gratitude like it was a chore. You wrote in your journal because you thought you had to, but soon gratitude will become your breath. You will wake up and the first feeling will be, thank you. You will drink water and feel thank you. That gratitude sustains flow. It keeps perspective clear. It invites continuation. Heaven responds to appreciation expressed quietly, consistently, sincerely. It is the magnetic force that draws the next miracle before the current one has even finished unfolding. Express your appreciation right now by liking this video. Consider it a seed of gratitude sown in faith, one that heaven sees and multiplies back to you. Remain receptive, remain attentive, remain grounded in this unfolding. The journey ahead expands gently, guided by insight rather than impulse. What has begun will continue when honored with presence. Archangel Michael reminds you that stewardship is the highest form of receiving. When the blessing arrives, and it is arriving, do not consume it all at once. Do not squander your energy in a burst of excitement. Treat it like a small flame. If you blow on it too hard with your excitement, you might extinguish it. If you ignore it, it will die. You must cup your hands around it and let it breathe. Instruction follows revelation for a reason. Many people receive the lottery of life, whether it be love, money, or opportunity, and they lose it within a year because their character could not steward their blessing. You are being trusted with something meaningful because your soul has learned restraint. Notice how your reactions have matured. You respond rather than explode. You observe rather than assume. These shifts did not happen accidentally. They prepared you to hold what is coming without fear of loss. There may be a brief moment where doubt whispers, suggesting that this encounter is ordinary, replaceable, or insignificant. That whisper is not intuition. It is habit trying to preserve the familiar. Let it pass without argument. Do not fight the doubt. Just don't invite it in for tea. Truth does not need defense. It needs space. God is asking you to stay grounded when this happens. Do not rush to share details. Do not seek validation from voices that were absent during your preparation. What arrives belongs first between you and heaven. Protection increases when gratitude remains quiet. Soon after this interaction, you will feel a subtle inner shift, like a weight lifting without ceremony. That is confirmation, not imagination. Something long delayed has finally moved from potential into motion. You will not need proof. Peace will suffice. This blessing is not isolated. It connects to future doors already marked for you. One moment unlocks another, provided you move with integrity. Alignment compounds quickly when humility stays intact. If you remain humble, if you remember that this is a gift and not a conquest, the doors will keep opening. Beloved, remember this clearly. What approaches you is not meant to impress others. It is meant to realign you. Measure its value by inner clarity rather than external applause. The quietest miracles reshape lives permanently. Archangel Michael reminds you again not to underestimate simplicity. The divine frequently travels through ordinary paths because ego rarely waits there. Stay attentive, stay receptive, stay grounded in the present second because eternity often enters through now. Remain with this message. What follows will reveal how to respond once the moment passes, how to nurture what begins, and how to walk forward without repeating old cycles. Beloved, awareness. Something subtle is happening even as you listen because attention itself is a doorway. When you choose to remain present instead of scrolling past, alignment strengthens quietly. That is why heaven often speaks through moments that feel unremarkable at first. Stillness trains recognition. What approaches you soon will arrive during a normal hour, wrapped in familiarity, touching your routine without disruption, yet carrying significance that unfolds only after reflection. My child, my beloved, listen closely because this moment did not arrive by accident. What you are experiencing right now is not random, and the stillness around you is not empty. Something has already begun moving toward your life quietly, deliberately, without announcing itself. Heaven has been watching how often you brush aside small moments, how easily you assume that nothing important could arrive through ordinary ways. This message comes because what is approaching you will not look dramatic at first glance. Yet, it carries power that can rearrange everything you thought was settled. I speak to you with urgency, not to frighten you, but to awaken awareness. There is a visitor being guided toward your space, and this arrival does not come with noise or spectacle. It comes softly, wrapped in timing, clothed in simplicity, and disguised as something you might be tempted to overlook. God is asking you not to judge this moment by appearance, because miracles rarely announce themselves the way people expect. Before you leave this space, pause for 1 second and make a decision. If messages like this have ever brought you clarity, peace, or direction, stay connected. Subscribe not out of habit, but as a prophetic act of alignment. By clicking that button, you are positioning yourself to receive the instructions that follow the blessing, ensuring you never walk alone. You are not here by chance, and staying connected ensures you do not miss the instructions that follow the blessing. Beloved soul, there has been a pattern in your life where opportunities came quietly and passed just as silently. Not because you were unworthy, but because your attention was pulled elsewhere. You learned to survive by ignoring subtle nudges, by trusting logic over intuition, by dismissing what could not be explained immediately. God sees this, and that is why this guidance comes. Now, what is about to reach your door carries an answer to a prayer you stopped repeating because you thought it was no longer being heard. Archangel Michael stands watch over this moment, not with a sword raised, but with discernment. He is not blocking danger today. He is protecting recognition. He warns you because the miracle approaching you requires cooperation. It needs presence. It needs humility. It needs you to resist the urge to say, "This is nothing," and move on. There will be a brief test of patience. You may feel irritation, distraction, or doubt right before this encounter happens. This is not coincidence. Resistance often rises when something meaningful is close. The mind looks for reasons to stay closed while the heart quietly leans forward. God is asking you to let the heart speak first. This time, listen carefully. The person or event arriving will not match the image you once imagined. It may come through conversation, paperwork, a delivery, a knock, a message, or an unexpected visit. You will be tempted to delay, to postpone, to say later. Do not. Timing is the vessel of this blessing, and hesitation can cause the moment to slip into another season. You have wondered why certain doors never opened, why outcomes shifted at the last minute, why answers seemed close yet unreachable. Those delays were not punishments. They were preparation. You were being trained to recognize value without glamour, truth without noise, direction without force. This moment is the result of that unseen training. Beloved, what arrives carries transformation not because it is dramatic, but because it is precise. It touches the exact area where things have felt stuck. It brings movement where effort failed. It brings confirmation where confusion lingered. This is not about receiving something flashy. It is about alignment snapping into place. Do not dismiss the ordinary today. Do not underestimate a simple interaction. Do not rush past something that asks for your attention. Heaven has already adjusted circumstances so this moment can reach you. All that remains is your response. Archangel Michael reminds you that discernment is not suspicion. Being open does not mean being careless. It means being present. Watch how you feel when this moment arrives. Peace will whisper before logic speaks. Calm will precede clarity. That is how you will know this is not coincidence. My beloved, you are not late. You have not missed your window. You are standing inside it right now. This message is proof. The door you thought was closed has been waiting for the right knock, and today you are on both sides of it. As you step into this new season, you may feel guided to hold a physical anchor for this spiritual shift. Sometimes, to sustain a frequency, the spirit benefits from a tangible touch point. Whether it is amethyst to guard your peace, blue topaz to align your voice with truth, or citrine to open the gates of abundance, these are not mere ornaments. They are prophetic points of contact. If you feel led to carry a sacred token of this breakthrough, I invite you to explore the collection I have prayerfully curated at Luxury Gold Palace. Look for the link in the pinned comment below and choose the stone that resonates with the specific blessing you are claiming today. Oh, if you believe this message was meant for you, seal it now. Type Amen to claim your alignment. By writing this, you anchor this truth into your reality, ensuring you walk in peace, awareness, and protection. Walk in peace, walk in awareness, and know that you are protected, guided, and infinitely loved. Before you go, share this message. You do not know who in your circle is silently praying for this exact answer. Be the answer to their prayer, and watch how God blesses the hand that gives.